initiated.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 20 of Rogue Agent Radio, the #1 fan podcast for Tom Clancy's The Division. I'm one of your hosts, Boomslangg. Joining me, as always, is the Master of Management, DeepFriedDave. Thanks for being here, Dave. How are you doing?
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I am doing very well, I guess.
You guys?
Counting down the days.
It's getting closer. What is it, 8 days now? 8, 9
It will
days?
be 8 days when this releases, yeah.
I'm trying not to think about it too much because I don't think I'm going to be able to get off of work for that day, so I'm just going to pretend like it doesn't exist until I can actually play it. So
Yeah, I'm only thinking about it so I can try to get everything done around the house that I need to prior to that date.
Yeah.
That's my motivation.
Yeah, that'll be something that you'll definitely need to do. Finally, we have with us, as always, again, is the rock star of gaming, BlessedDoom. Thank you for being here, Doom. How are you doing?
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, no, it's going good. We're so close. I'm entering that stage now where I'm starting to get nervous about it. It's like I have such high hopes. I'm just like, oh man, I hope it's good.
Yeah.
I hope I was super excited about it a couple days ago, and now I'm just starting to get super nervous. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be great, but now my anticipation is just making me nervous about it.
You guys been playing any games to help ease your nervousness or whatever, or you're just waiting for it? Or are you doing your video game fast still?
Because I had a little extra time last night, I did jump on and play a little bit of Destiny PvP. I did a little bit of Iron Banner. We had we got a little bit of a Resolute team going with
cool.
a couple of other people in there helping us, and we were crushing in Iron Banner yesterday.
Really?
It was probably the best run that I've ever had. I
Wow.
mean, just we mercy ruled a couple of teams.
Dang, that's awesome.
And also yesterday, I finally finished the hard mode King's Fall raid
Really?
for the first time.
Oh, congratulations.
I've never
buddy.
done that.
Thank you. Yeah, I just could never get a team together that would do it, because by the time I could get anybody, they'd already done it and they didn't want to
Right.
do it again. And we finally finished it. So now I feel complete. I'm ready for the division.
Yeah.
I
Got
tied
that
up
out
all
of the
those
way.
loose ends. Yeah.
It's one Destiny.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that all the trophies in? Is there a platinum for Taken King, or is it just gold trophies?
I don't think there's a platinum for it. I still haven't platinumed the vanilla game. I never did the salvage stuff. So
Oh, really?
that's
Okay.
the only thing I'm missing.
Yeah. I got a platinum on it. The last one I needed was Flawless Raid.
Mm.
That's pretty fun. Crota's the best one to do that, if anyone's wondering.
I thought you did flawless with us way back in the day when I was streaming on Thursdays. I thought you
I might
came
have.
in and did one of those with us. Yeah.
I might have. I did like 4 or 5 of them. I ran a bunch of people through. It's pretty fun. I like it a lot. Different
Yeah,
challenges like
okay.
that's gonna be fun. I hope the Division has things like that too. That'll keep everything fresh. And anyways, a little bit of housekeeping. Rogue Agent Radio is your base of operations for the Division news, information, game discussions, and agent trust issues. You can find us on iTunes and Podbean by searching Rogue Agent Radio, where this show is posted every Monday morning. So subscribe, rate, review, tell your friends, all that good stuff. And about the iTunes reviews, we really do appreciate those. Those help us out. They're awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, we got a few more this week, so that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Love going in there and reading those things. It makes me feel a
Yeah,
little
with-
fuzzy.
The good reviews and the high 4 or 5 star ratings, that actually, as far as I understand, gets us suggested to more people. It kind of puts our name in front of more eyeballs.
Yeah.
So helps us spread a little bit more. So yeah, that's really, really appreciated.
Yeah, definitely. So you can also check us out on rogueagentradio.com, where you can find links to all of those podcasting wares and social media hubs such as Twitter and Facebook. You know the drill. I'm excited to announce that Rogue Agent Radio will have an official t-shirt coming out soon. We'll release it on Teespring this Well, actually, when you're listening to this, which will be on Monday, you can go check out teespring.com/Rogue Agent Radio. You'll be able to purchase a Rogue Agent Radio t-shirt with the logo on the front and the Rogue Agent Radio title on the back. So go over there, buy the t-shirt, support us. And hopefully you guys will enjoy the shirt. I think it looks pretty freaking awesome. I'm pretty excited about it. And hopefully we'll have some more merchandise in the future. But yeah, just wanted to say we will have an official t-shirt this Monday. Well, today, whenever you're listening to this, we're recording this on Sunday or whatever. But yeah, you get the idea. And also, if you guys hear some fuzz during this podcast, don't blame us. It's not our fault. That would be Skype. We use that to record on here. And apparently there's like connection issues or something. I don't know what's going on. Normally it's pretty crystal clear, but so if you hear any slight fuzz, just ignore it or whatever. Go message Skype.
Yeah, please keep listening.
Yeah, please keep listening. It's still some good stuff in here. So anyways, let's begin episode 20 with the Rogue Report.
This week we have 12 incidents on the Rogue Report.
I like that.
Oh,
I like the incidents.
I was waiting. I was going to see it. I threw one at you.
Yeah, I caught that pretty quick. I like it.
Let's see. Number one this week, they released a Division game where Ubisoft released a video trailer of a companion book called The New York Collapse Survival Guide. I know this is this is new to a lot of people. But actually it's been around for quite some time. I think E3 2015 is when is that the first time they talked about it, Boom?
The book?
Yeah.
I think so.
Because that was when you got the excerpt, like in the press pack, they gave a little excerpt.
Yeah, it might have been a little bit before E3 2015. Might have been like in between 2014, 2015.
I gotcha. But I know I pre-ordered mine last August, so it's been around, but good video. Definitely, if you're new to the Division, check it out. I'm going to read the back of this. I'm a Division nerd, so I ordered on eBay one of these little pamphlets that were in the press packs. So a while back. It's really cool. I'm just going to read the back of it. It says, "Introducing New York Collapse, the exclusive story companion to Tom Clancy's The Division. At first glance, it appears to be an illustrated guide for surviving urban catastrophe, how to protect yourself, find vital supplies, and stay alive. But someone owned this book before you. She left her notes in the margins, and retracing her steps reveals key secrets at the heart of this blockbuster new game."
Yeah, it actually has game ties. I have mine right here.
Yeah, and then in the book itself, it has an emergency flyer, a folded New York City map, and 5 more removable artifacts, which is really cool. And if you look through it, it's just got her scribbles all over in the margins, and it goes through what she did in certain scenarios and tips and stuff. So I'm really interested to see how this is going to companion with the story and help bring it together. But it's got lore in it as well.
Yeah.
But you can pre-order this at Amazon. We'll put a link in the show notes for $14.99 US dollars. And it looks like it says it's available March 8th. So we'll see how that goes, though.
Yeah.
Let's see. Incident number 2. The Division game also released something they call the Collapse. It's at the End of Society Simulator. It's a website. It works really well on your mobile phone, but you go in there and the first thing it says, which is really cool, it says, "You have been infected with an unknown breed of smallpox. You are patient 0. Because of you, a worldwide pandemic is about to start." Way to go.
It's all your fault, Dave.
Yeah. Based on real data, discover how long it takes our world to collapse. So it's pretty cool because if you let it geotag you, it asks you where you're at. And then for me, I'm just north of Indianapolis, and I let it take it from there. And then you get to make some decisions. Oh, you feel sick. Where do you go? Are you staying home? Are you going to go out with your friends? And based on your answers in this, it kind of shows the death count or infected count and gives you at the end how long it took for you for the worldwide collapse of all people and power to all the cities and stuff. So
yeah.
I think I ended up being at like 24 days, but I was picking like worst case scenario options. But,
right.
Like the first question was like, "You don't feel well, you have a headache. What do you do? Go to the doctor, go home, or go out with your friends?" I'm like, "I'm going to party." And then, so then you go and you like infect a bunch of people, and it just keeps going there and there. But the really cool thing was that if it's, then it's like, okay, you didn't do it. So you go to the hospital So you need to go to the doctor. Which hospital do you go to? And it shows you like a hospital that's near your location.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's like it shows me which hospital you go to. Pops up 3 hospitals that are right next to me. And I'm like, whoa. So that was really cool. So I brought it down in 24 days. So that's how.
I like that they're throwing little things like this out there. They had the one with the dollar bills or European bills, whatever they were, pounds and euros or whatever. Notes. It wasn't available. Yeah, notes. It wasn't available here.
Yeah, I mean that this kind of stuff just makes it seem real. It just brings back the Tom Clancy realism to it, right? Mm-hmm. Could happen.
Right.
So, incident number 3, we talked about the soundtrack last week, and there's a bit of speculation from I've seen 3 different people, big Division YouTubers and writers talk about this, I see some truth to it, but it says the number of tracks on here might tell us how many missions are in the game. And the only reason they say that is if you look at the track names and go through them, number 4 is the Garden, which Madison Square Garden, which is where the hospital mission takes place in the game. The 7th track is called Mortuary, which could be the subway morgue mission that we did. And then if you keep going through these, there's some things that we do know that have been taken from the notes inside the game, those tips, where there's one called Amherst. Number 13 is called Amherst, and Dr. Amherst was mentioned in the beta by the Dr. Jessica that said that could be behind the smallpox attack, or at least involved in it. I'm sure everybody's heard that 5 times when they were playing through the mission. And then they have another one, like track 14 is Pharaoh, called Pharaoh, who's the founder of the Cleaner faction. Mm-hmm. And then track 17 is entitled Bliss, which we all know is the leader of the Last Man Battalion. So if you do that and you take out the prologue, and you take out one called Dark Zone, it looks like there's about 15, 16 tracks. So it'd be interesting to see if that actually lines up with how many missions we're going to see, which I'd be happy with that number if there were, if it's the style of missions we've been playing through in the beta.
Right, yeah. That would be pretty substantial. I mean, even when you throw in all the side missions and stuff, you've got a decent amount of content to play.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see, incident number 4. Now, we've heard developers say this. It's not been new news, I guess. It has been stated in the past that 24 people is kind of the max in a dark zone area. We knew that going into the beta. I guess it had been mentioned several times by developers. But there was a leaked picture of the back of the game box that confirms that, seemingly confirms that the 24 will be the max number in the dark zone. So, there's a little bit of talk back and forth on is 24 an acceptable number in the dark zone, and then some people have concerns about it and some people don't. I think Doom, did you have a view on this? Did you want to?
Yeah, I've got a little bit of an opinion on it, and I think because I know we've gotten some stuff on Twitter and everything, and people are thinking that might not be enough when the full dark zone is open, that you might not run into people as often as you did in the beta. And I think people are still thinking of the dark zone as a PvP area like Destiny's Crucible or Call of Duty or Battlefield or something. And I still keep trying to explain to people that that's not exactly what it is. And I don't know what their actual intent is, but I don't think that's how they intend it to be. I think running into people should be, I don't want to say rare, but a little more uncommon. Like, you don't want to run into other players all the time, I don't think. I think when you run into people, they want you to decide, they want it to be more of not a standoff situation, but still kind of, you really have to decide what you want to do. Do you want to attack them first? Do you want to wait for them to attack you? Do you want to see if they cooperate? And it needs to be, I think it would be cooler if it was a little more of a tense situation, and whenever you're extracting, waiting to see if somebody shows up, not just expecting somebody to show up every single time like it did in the beta. Right. You knew that there was people because everybody was crammed into this small area. And it kind of wore on me a little bit. I know a lot of people like that stuff, but it's just like, it's not if somebody's going to show up, it's when somebody's going to show up. Yeah. And I want it to be more if somebody shows up. Because if I can take a minute here, and I'll try to get through this quick, I realized what the feeling was whenever you're extracting and you're waiting there, because we've talked about it before. You get this really intense kind of feeling when you're waiting there to extract, and you're hiding, and you're looking around to see if somebody's going to show up, and you're waiting to see if somebody's going to attack you. And even when you're out walking down the street and doing stuff, you don't know if you're about to get attacked at any second. And what I realized is this is the same feeling that I got when I was in Iraq. The worst, I say worst, but probably worst, most intense part of being in Iraq is when you're either out on patrol or you're in a position and nothing's happening.
Yeah.
And you're waiting for something.
An uneasy feeling.
Yeah. Once combat starts, once something blows up or you get shot at, you know what to do. Yeah. You know how to handle that. But if you're just walking around and you're looking and you can almost feel something about to happen, but sometimes it never does, just that anticipation of an attack is one of the most intense things that I've ever felt.
Yeah.
I still remember the very first time that I went out on patrol in Samara, and we're just walking down and we're pulling security down an alleyway. And you feel people watching you. You feel unsafe. And it's like, you almost want something to happen so that you can just start fighting, and then sometimes nothing ever happens. And that's the same feeling that I would get whenever we're trying to extract. And I think with the less people there, if you don't know if somebody's there or not, I think it makes it that much more intense. But I could be wrong. I know people, they want PvP, they want Crucible style PvP, and I think I'm pretty sure this is something different, and I want that intense feeling like that.
Right.
It kind of becomes addictive, but when it's happening all the time, you just, yeah, okay, somebody's going to come over and attack me, and it's just going to happen. Like, it kind of wears out.
Right.
I think. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, if you want to play PvP, like you said, go play Call of Duty, go play Destiny, go play Battlefield. This is not that game. This is not going to be that way. This is totally different, and that's how the developers want it to be. It's not meant to be where it's PvP enabled, like you always say. It doesn't mean that it's PvP constantly.
Yeah.
It's a blend.
It just hit me the other day. I was listening to this other podcast that's done by a former Navy SEAL commander, and he was talking about that feeling, that being the worst feeling in combat is just before something happens or maybe never happens. And I just realized that's that feeling. And playing in the dark zone, this probably sounds really dumb to a lot of people, and maybe to a lot of the veterans that listen. This is the first time since I was actually there that I had a similar, obviously it's a lot less intense, but it's the first time that I've had a similar kind of feeling, just sitting there waiting to extract, not knowing if I'm about to get attacked, and it's addictive, and obviously a lot less intense. I know that nothing's going to happen to me in real life, but it's
crazy.
It's a similar feeling.
That's interesting. It's kind of cool that they were able to pull that off in the game.
For the fifth incident on their rogue report, we'll get to what spawned this topic in a little while, but replying to someone on Twitter, one of the community managers, Nachai, hopefully I said that right, I'm pretty sure I did, but he'd responded to a tweet with somebody having some concerns about microtransactions. We know that's a hot topic, and we talk about that all day, but in his tweet he did say there will be no microtransactions and definitely no pay to win. Now, I don't want to focus on the no microtransactions, because if there are and they're just cosmetic, I don't care, and I think there's some information on here and there. I don't want to hold the gospel to that. I mean, would you agree saying that, Boone, that I don't want to hold his feet to the fire on absolutely zero microtransactions?
I actually made a video, I'm making a video. I'll probably release it tonight or something like that whenever I get some spare time. But it goes through explaining microtransactions and DLC and what the division is going to be doing specifically. So, because I know this, like you said, this is a hot topic, and the there is a clear and direct answer, but it's just all muddied. The water's all muddy right now, so you can't really see.
But yeah, so the second half of this, I will hold his feet to the fire on, where it's definitely no pay to win.
Yeah.
And they've said that several times, but I know some people when they hear microtransaction, they're like, oh, great, whatever, they're going to, level up or blah, blah, blah. There's definitely no pay to win scenarios. So I think we can all agree with that. Okay, yeah. So, and then stay tuned for Boom's video on the whole history of microtransaction talk in the Division.
Yeah. It's good to, you'll see. It defines both of them and what they are and how it works. So
yeah, it's probably good education for people that are not 100% familiar too, because there's just a lot of talk.
Yeah.
All right, incident number 6. One Reddit user, I'm going to quote him as his username is A Great Gambino, which is awesome. Has actually watched like 10 hours of the Division stream from the open beta.
Holy crap!
And he put together
commitment.
Yeah, it is. So he put together a list, and it's been getting a lot of traffic, and a lot of people have been quoting it. So, and I feel that it's pretty accurate after doing a little bit of research. But pointing out several things that developers said while playing. So there's a lot of them. A lot of them we already know. A couple are confirmation, but this one's really interesting because the developer said that. Everybody's in the chat asking questions, and this one is the Dark Zone is not the only end game component, which I think is cool. is good news because a lot of people they're depending on the article you read and whatnot that kind of got construed as the Dark Zone is the only end game component of it, where they have said that there is an end game to the Dark Zone, right? So itself, like the whole thing resets, and then there's other things going on in there, right?
Yeah.
But this, this comes out and says, it's not only the Dark Zone,
right?
So I think that's going to help alleviate a lot of concerns that PvE players have. So
yeah, can't wait to see.
I'm
past like speculating. I'm like, I don't care. I'll just wait and see. We're 9 days away. I'm just gonna put all the speculations, all the hardcore speculations to the side and just wait. I can wait 9 more days.
Yep, exactly. I've gotten to that point where we got to hear about something. You can only not talk about it for 9 more days, right? So something's got to be coming. Whether it's yes or no, whatever it is, it's coming. So
right.
Another thing, let's see, Incident 7, also from this report that he put together, confirms the existence of a Dark Zone fund exchange. Now, we speculated that when we went through the perks here on the show a couple weeks ago, and saying that we believed it to be unlocked by the black market vendor perk. That place that you can go to convert your PvE credits into Dark Zone funds.
Yeah.
So what they said is base of operations will have a DZ funds vendor that allows you to convert regular credits to DZ funds. However, keep in mind, you will still need a Dark Zone rank to buy these ranked base gears and weapon items.
Right. I like that it's not like a fast track to get better weapons from the Dark Zone vendors. You still have to play in there. You don't necessarily, you could go in there, level up, get your rank up, but you don't have to grind out Dark Zone points in there. You can exchange your other points. And this is going to be really good for the people who don't want to do a whole lot of PvP. So they're catering to both play styles.
Oh, that's exactly right. And if you think about it, people that, I've heard plenty of people say that the Dark Zone doesn't interest me. They don't like it. Well, now, this kind of gives you the opportunity to go in, level yourself up by participating more in PvE events, getting your experience that way, and not, avoiding going rogue and doing that route, and not have to farm. You can just work on your experience and then, farm your PvE credits and change those in for cash. So for funds.
The other thing I would say to those people that say that the Dark Zone doesn't interest them, give it a chance.
Yeah, because it's going to be a lot different in the full game too.
Yeah, the Dark Zone because I'm a total PvE guy, and the Dark Zone didn't interest me as much until I went in and played it. So just give it a chance. Don't write it off right away.
And along with that, number 8 on here, another thing that they pointed out on this stream was that the best in-slot gear. So I know they've said, continuously said that the best gear can be found in the dark zone, which is what concerns some PvE players, right? Forcing me to go in there. Great. Well, topic A, the last incident's telling us, okay, now they're telling you don't have to farm things. Well, this was said that the best in-slot gear cannot be only found in the dark zone, but also earned through PvE activities, missions, encounters, side missions, etc. And that some of the best gear in game you'll be able to get through crafting.
Nice. Sweet.
So
yeah, I'm glad they're making awesome. Craftable valuable. That's good.
Yeah, and be one of those things where, but you can leave it too, right? If you don't want to mess around with it, don't mess around with it. Earn yours a different way.
I do hope though that they throw in some things for the crafting people that you can only get through crafting. I hope there's a couple of named guns that you can only get if you craft. So, there might be 1 or 2 or 3 guns in there. There might be 20, 30 named guns in the game. But, as long as there's a few in there that are really hard to get, I want some people to have to craft in order to get it. Like there's things in this game that are there for a purpose. And if you don't like that kind of thing in a game, then, don't play it. If it's obviously not for you. But, if you're playing an RPG game, there's crafting. So you're just going to have to, do it. And having the option to do that, I think would be pretty cool, because then you're like, oh, I need to go out here and excuse me, and get all this stuff, and then you get to make a gun, and it's just that much more valuable.
I agree. Have an incentive to craft, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, number 9. This was the biggest, I would say, news this week, or where a lot of discussion came from. We'll go through some of the finer points here, but Ubisoft has updated the Division Ubisoft Club page. If you're not familiar with this is kind of an Uplay. So in your account, what you have to play the Division, they have different sections. So there's actions, badges, and rewards. Okay, so for the Division game, they added 8 actions. Oh no, excuse me. There's way more actions than that. 8 badges and 16 rewards. When you do an action, you get Uplay units, which you use to spend on the rewards that are available for that game. We're not going to go through all the actions because there's a lot of spoilers in there. If you want to see, we got a link in there so you can see where they all are. But they do have some spoilers in there about missions and things like that. So, but most of them are pretty straightforward. Some examples are like kill 50 enemies with a skill. That's an action, or deconstruct 100 items, so on and so forth. Badges are earned by completing certain tasks, and they're just like trophies within Uplay. So like if you have trophies or achievements on your PlayStation or Xbox, I'm not sure what they do for Steam or PC, but these are like kind of like within Ubisoft, they're trophies that you can put on your profile and show off.
Right.
But they're pretty standard, like reach level 30, finish all the missions on hard, blah, 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 blah. There are a couple that also spoilers that we're not going to mention as well there, but now on the rewards that they show out all the rewards, and they can be purchased with the credits that you earn from the actions, but there are a lot of them are free. So you do have to go into your Uplay account and activate them. And this is an example where you need to go and claim your alpha, closed beta, and open beta weapon scan and outfit rewards in order for them to show up to your reward claim vendor. Right? So you want to go into your Uplay account, go hit on the Division game, and you'll see the rewards pop up, and there'll be several there that you can get for, you just hit the button and it'll claim it and they'll be ready for you in the game. Some of the rewards there were a few wallpapers and some concept art. I think most of those were actually free. The concept art you may have had to use some credits for. One of the things you could use from your credits was to buy 3 exclusive tracks from the soundtrack, which that's pretty cool. And then there were a few rewards that were kind of meh that you get. They give you consumables such as crafting supplies, med kits, and one gave you 3 Dark Zone keys for like 30 units, which I wouldn't get that one if I were me, but
yeah.
But for 30 units, buy 3 Dark Zone keys. Well, take one step out and get them all taken. But some of the cool stuff they did, there was one weapon skin on there called Urban Snow that you could pay for with credits to unlock. And then the cool stuff, in my opinion, here were the outfits. So you could unlock, use your credits to buy, I guess, the broker outfit, which is right up my alley. It's pretty much got like a shirt and tie with like a tactical vest over the top of it. So
yeah,
it's like you're serious about spreadsheets. And then another one was if you played Rainbow Six Siege, then you get one that's a Rainbow Six Siege tactical unit suit. So that's the only time you get it available to use if you play Siege, but you still have to go in there and lock it. And then there's also an exclusive one just to people that buy this is the Centurion's basketball team, the fictional basketball team in game. You can unlock that and the jacket and the hat. And then the last but not least, as far as the rewards go, the iconic Tom Clancy's The Division jacket as worn by Agent Ryan in some of the clips. So that one's pretty cool. I know Boom's excited about that.
Yeah, it's definitely the best one out of all of them, I think.
Yeah. I guess, and we'll go into, let's see, number 10. For those worried about content on the rewards, or excuse me, one of the actions on there, if you go through all the actions, it'll actually tell you how many survival guides you need to pick up, or phone messages you need to pick up. But we're just going to tell you can go on there if you want all the spoilers to that, but we're going to tell you that in total there are 293 collectibles that they've listed out in the game. 293.
I think there's probably going to be more too.
Yeah, I mean that number. It's not like in some games where you collect something like that in a little RPG that all you're doing is collecting it for the trophy, like
right,
your trophy or achievement.
These actually mean something.
Yeah, and they mean something to the lore, and they give you XP too.
Yeah.
So people forget once you're in the full game, you need to grind XP to level up. It's not like the beta where you just max out and you don't care to do it. You're going to want to find this stuff to level you up.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Number 11, we have the most interesting one. This was one of the rewards that were listed in the Uplay that we didn't talk about here, but I think this is the one that's brought the most topic of conversation this week. And it is called the Phoenix Credit Pack. Adds a pack of 30 Phoenix credits to the rewards claim vendor. Use these to purchase high-level equipment. So, I have my hopes and dreams for what these are. I know me personally, and I think a lot of chatter I've seen, hope that this is a special type of thing that you get as a drop from certain maybe daily or weekly events or in-game content things where you have to do special like events or activities in order to get these to buy this high level gear. But Boom, do you want to go over real quick? I know you put a video out and had a little different thought there than a lot of the people have been talking about.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the recent information that we have and all of the clarification that we have received in the past few days, I do believe that it is some sort of in-game rewards. A lot of people have been throwing around like it's similar to Strange Coins in Destiny, but knowing what we know and the few things that I've heard from different people, I would say that this is tied to some sort of in-game rewards. Like if you beat a mission on challenging or whatever, you'll get Phoenix credits, and then you can go buy high-end weapons or something like that. But other than that, I don't really know, what they could be for sure. I'm just like I said, I'm just waiting. We'll just see what happens. We could go on speculating and stuff, but we're just too close, in my opinion, to really go too deep, go too far down that rabbit hole.
I know, I agree. We could talk about that for hours, right?
Yeah, so. That could be a whole episode.
Yeah. Okay, the last thing, last incident on the Rogue Report this week is in the beta, you start at level 4, you start at rank 4, level 4, and are being flown into what is seemingly Manhattan. Now, there's always been speculation about this, but there's been 2 things that happened this week that kind of confirm that. And, one of these is on the stream. It was mentioned. And then also one of the actions says the same thing, or it says that you will not be, you will reach Manhattan when you're rank 4. So ranks 1 through 3, you will not be in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And that's all we're going to say, because that's all we really know.
Right.
You can speculate where, what, when, but we do know that you do not start in Manhattan, but you'll be there by rank 4. Right. So that's all we can honestly say we know.
Right.
So you can let your brain go wild, but that's all we know.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's our 12 incidents on the road report this week.
A lot of news going on, man. We're getting so close. I can't wait. Just come out already. So tired of waiting. I don't know what I'm gonna do once it's released. You know, I'll be like, all right, I'm done. What's the next game to look forward to?
Wow.
That's how it is. Like, that's how I felt like with Destiny. It's like, you know, I don't know. It's a weird feeling, but it's a good feeling too. But anyways, let's hear what the fans have to say with the listener mail. If you want to be part of Rogue Agent Radio, send us your questions and topics to rogueagentradio@gmail.com, where they will then be answered on the show, just like Smuckbuck. Hey guys, Smuckbuck here, and I had a quick question for you. I'm a big Destiny fan and have been since year 1, but with the recent lack of content, I hope The Division can beat my new Destiny for a lack of words and fill the void for a long time to come. The allure for me in Destiny is the daily bounties and daily story missions, as well as the playlist of strike-specific missions at my fingertips that me and my buddies can count on when we want to connect. I have a hard time reading today. I don't know what my deal is. My question is, will The Division incorporate these daily objectives to keep the replay value up? My concern is once I do the in-game story objectives, whether on hard or normal, whatever, it's over, and there is no longer a reason to ever do it again. Talking loot, crafting materials, etc. What do you guys think, and can we expect to always have something to look forward to regularly? Thanks in advance, Smuckbuck. What do you guys think?
I think so. Just based on the beta when they had those daily missions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we don't know if those are going to carry over into the game, but I kind of feel like they might.
Right.
You know, there might be just a different kind of daily mission where whoever ends up doing the most of that thing maybe gets a special, reward.
Right.
I hope they keep doing that, because that was pretty awesome. That was better than just having daily bounties that were just like the same, like 10 or 15 bounties just getting recycled every day. Hopefully they do something like this where it's just, extract gear this day, or kill this many of this certain type of elites today. And, I like how they handled that.
Yeah.
And then also the thing with the loot, I'm still hoping that the loot behaves the way that Diablo loot does, where you're constantly finding better stuff.
Yeah.
Like, even, you're constantly finding even lower quality but higher leveled.
Right. There's not necessarily a cap. There's there's going to be a lot of variation anyways with all the different stats and attributes that are tied to this gear, and the talents and things on the guns and the mods and all that stuff. So, it's going to take a while to get like the absolutely perfect build. You're always going to find stuff that's a little bit better. There's no like, okay, the gear can go, I mean, obviously the gear goes to level 30 or whatever, because that's the level cap, but the stats, could be higher or whatever. So, but when it comes to like daily missions, I'm not sure, because Destiny's daily missions, you go out, you kill, you get 50 headshots or something like that. The Division was different because you didn't necessarily know what your completion rate was for that daily objective, because they said go out and kill as many cleaners as you can, go out and kill as many named cleaners as you can, but you never knew how many you had killed that day. Yeah. So I'm wondering if he's talking more of like you go in, you get your objective for that day, you go out, you do a certain amount of these things, you go back in, turn it in, then you get, rewarded with credits or Phoenix credits or how, whatever it would be. It's like, would you guys rather see that kind of system, or would you rather see just more of a cumulative community effort where everyone goes out and does this one thing, and then everyone gets, some grenades and some crafting materials or whatever.
I kind of like to see both.
Why not both? Good point.
I like the idea of kind of, as long as they can do it differently, but if say there was 15 missions, and I do like the daily mission, but the way that, the daily mission is this: go in, it's on, do this mission on hard. Today you'll get a reward. Now, it does get stale after a while, so they would have to do something to keep the reward fresh or the mission fresh, because if I had to do the same one 1,000 times, that's when I start to lose interest, right?
Yeah.
And I think one thing to point out here is that they know they get compared to Destiny, and I'm not going to talk about the questions, but after the alpha, I'm not sure if anyone else out there took this survey, but they sent you, and I don't know if everybody got it, but they sent you a link to take a survey on, give you some honest feedback on the alpha. And the first part took like 30 minutes. And then they say, have you played Destiny? If you have, would you like to take the other half of the survey? So I did. And it was like another 20, 30 minutes of questions comparing itself to Destiny.
Dang.
Did you like, was this on a scale of 1 to 10, was it better or worse? This, what did you like better about, X, Y, and Z compared to, and it was really a whole section. They know they get compared to Destiny, and they know Destiny's created a formula that works. Right. Now it's not working right now, but it's been a year and a half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it
Games
worked.
wear out.
It worked for a long time.
Deal with it.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. It worked for a long time,
and it'll work
again. Addictive, and it will.
Yeah.
But I think that they're very aware, and I know that we're going to see some similarities out there, but hopefully they're just tweaked enough to where we're not stale on them already, right? And I think they understand that. So the answer to my question is yes. I think there's going to be some things, and I don't know if I want them to be exactly like the Destiny things he's talking about, but we're going to have some variety, I believe.
Yeah. Well, the thing that gives me hope for this type of stuff is the Snowdrop engine itself and their ability to adapt and make changes quickly.
Right.
Definitely. Rather than having to take a lot of time to make even the smallest changes that some other games seem to have.
Yeah, that's something people need to be excited about, with how much they changed from closed beta to open beta and how substantial those updates were. So that's definitely promising for the future, and they're listening. They're going to listen to the community. They care, and I think these missions and things, I think they have some plans. I think once the game comes out and we all get to play it, we'll have a better idea of what would work in this situation. So it'll, open the door for a lot of different discussions and a lot of different topics once the game does come out, and things that we want to see in this game and stuff like that, which kind of going to get into a little bit already with what we're going to be talking about with the topic of the week. But yeah, I think adding things in here to do every, it doesn't necessarily have to be even every day. It could be once a week or something. Go kill, 100, or like 25 named cleaners in a week, or 10 named cleaners in, 3 days, or, whatever, different things like that. And then, they have the rewards claim vendor where they could reward you with certain things and stuff like that. And it's cool that they can track it. They can track how much stuff you're doing in the game, and they've already proved it with what they were doing. So that's pretty cool that they have all that technology on the back end as well. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about some special weapons in the topic of the week. Here's an email from Groundhog, which is going to lead us into the whole discussion thing. That's really good. This is really where the whole topic came from. So Groundhog, you get the topic of the week, gold star. I don't even know, or awards or whatever. Anyways, he says, going back to episode 4, you guys were talking about throwing weapons and specifically the tactical tomahawk. I think this would be a very neat and great idea to do for doing some silent damage without being too close. If you happen to walk up on someone from behind, now that we know a lot about, I need to breathe. Hold on. Okay. Now that we know a lot more about the game and have experienced the betas, do you think this could still have a good place in the game? I'd like to I would like to say it could be your sidearm, but if you ran out of ammo, then you would need a sidearm with unlimited ammo to possibly complete the firefight. I do feel that you should only be able to carry one throwing weapon, and after you throw it, you have to go retrieve it. Lose it, then you're done with it until you get it from resupply crates. Could this be a secondary weapon? Thoughts? Keep up the good work and keep the info flowing. Thanks, Groundhog. And let's see, we have another email in here too, but we'll throw that in there a little bit once we start getting into more of those particular special weapon types. So what do you think about throwing weapons? Doom, you were the one who brought this up in the first place. Do you still think they have a place in this game?
I think it could be cool, but I don't know if they belong on one of your actual weapon slots. I think it should probably go. I think they should probably behave more like grenades.
Yeah.
I think that way you have a limited number of them, and you activate it in the same way.
Yeah.
That I think could be. Yeah, there could be a lot of cool things that work like that.
Right. I mean, if you think about it, if you equip it, it could have the same exact grenade arc symbol.
Yep.
You wouldn't have the big circle on the ground, obviously, unless you like tied a Molotov to it.
Yeah, but you could get the trajectory line.
Exactly. Yeah. And you can land headshots and things like that. I think it would be cool if, and then you could use it as a melee weapon too, possibly.
Yeah.
So
yeah, if you were close enough, say you had it equipped and you just happen to have it out, and you click the melee button and you just swipe with it.
Right.
Once you have it out. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people be like, what do you think, Dave? Because you're a little bit more of the devil's advocate in this in this whole topic.
And to preface it, I am the throwing sharp objects guy.
Yeah.
I mean, like in Call of Duty, I did the throwing knives in Modern Warfare. I was the combat axe guy. I never equipped grenades. I always had 2 combat axes, with the special perk. In Destiny, I'm only a hunter because it has throwing knives. I've never played another class. That's just how I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a throwing knife montage that got nominated for Movie of the Week. Put a link because I'm kind of self-plugging myself because I think it's awesome. but I am the throwing weapon guy.
Right.
So I'll just say that. So that's it. That being said, after playing it, I just don't think there's a place for it. It'd be really cool, but I just don't know how it would be significant as far. I mean, I agree it has to be in the grenade slot, right? Or something similar, because that's the way it was like in Call of Duty. And I think the Call of Duty today has the same thing. I just have never leveled up that high, but it takes the place of your grenades.
It does.
Say you have that in a slot, but there's too many questions on how much damage does it do. When's a good time to use it? Like, when's it going to be most effective?
Right.
So how much damage would it take off? If you have to put 2 clips into somebody, if I throw a combat axe, how much damage does that do?
Right.
Well, maybe it's that it does a lot of damage to armor or something, but that kind of thing. Since the armor's so high, you can use that to take down armor. But I don't know. I think it should be like a high risk, high reward weapon. Like
right.
It's really hard to use, but if you can pull it off, it does really well.
Yeah. I mean, this is how I would imagine it would function. Like you're saying, it would be in a grenade slot. You would see the trajectory. It would do high damage. You'd only have 2 or 3 of them. It would do high damage. You could say that it could function similar to a sidearm, where it does more damage when the target is, damaged more. They could be weaker, something like that.
Yep.
And then on top of that, it could cause bleed damage.
Yeah.
Because then that would make it a lot more viable. You could hit someone with it or whatever. And then not only does that start them to lose health over time, but it also forces, like if you're playing against another player or whatever, it also forces them to take cover because they're losing damage. It disorients people when they get hit by that. They're like, oh man, I'm bleeding. What do I do?
Yeah.
What do I do? It kind of freaks you out a little bit. And I could see it working pretty well against other enemies as well. Imagine having, an entire squad of people throwing these things. You could do some serious damage to something. Don't make it so powerful that it's OP, but make it, like you're saying, a risk versus reward. Give it a few special perks to make it useful. Because if you want to talk about damage and stuff and it being kind of wonky, you can hit someone in the head with the butt of your gun in the dark zone when they're down and kill them once, but you have to dump 2 clips into them before they die. I mean,
ooh,
so
that'd be like a long distance finisher.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, that would be now that
yeah.
okay.
Now we got Dave on board. Here we go. It's on.
Because I already said if I don't want emotes, I want new finishers in the dark zone when somebody's down. I don't want to dance. I want something else just to punk them out while they're like crawling around.
That would be
so
pretty
now
cool.
If you give me a combat axe that I can throw across the street instead of trying to put rounds into him as he crawls behind a car, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
Right. That would be pretty cool. The other special weapon, I mean, it could go in the melee slot, but it wouldn't really function because, like, if you're holding a gun, it makes sense to hit with the gun first. You know, you wouldn't necessarily put the gun away, grab the hatchet, and hit someone with it or something like that. You know, we'll go into that after I read this next email, which has more to do with underbarrel stuff. But the other special weapon that I thought could function in this game, and hear me out before everyone like writes the podcast off, I think that like a tactical crossbow or tactical bow could have the same sort of place in this game, and this would probably function more as like a secondary weapon. Like it could be an entire weapon itself. But here's the thing: you could have different types of arrows for it that would replace your grenades. You could have like a flame arrow. You could have an explosive arrow. You could have all these different kinds of arrows that do different kinds of damage, but the bow and arrow would make 0 sound, so you would draw absolutely no aggro, but it would do, you know, not as much damage as other weapons. But like, say if you are a glass cannon, you know, you would do insane amounts of damage, but you have literally like 1 shot and you're down. Well, you equip this gun, and then you can do a lot of damage pretty quickly and then cause, you know, some elemental effects to these different enemies in certain ways. You know, you wouldn't have a ton of ammo. So like you're saying, it's that high risk versus reward or whatever. Same thing with a throwing axe. So what do you guys think about that?
That's a cool idea. I mean, yeah, they would basically kind of function more like the grenades, but a more direct shot, and you'd have a longer range than, you know, you could shoot them farther than you could throw a grenade.
Right. I mean,
But,
these
and also
we're
being
reaching
silent,
with
I like
all
the
of
idea.
these. But
yeah,
you know.
we're getting crazy, but why not?
Right.
Why not get crazy?
Why not? I mean, I think that all of these could be. I don't think that they would be weird if they were in the game. I just think it would, you know, not necessarily. That's not what you would think of right off the bat to be in a game of this nature. But I don't know. I mean, I think a tactical bow would make sense, and I definitely think tactical tomahawks would make sense because you see them on their backpacks. You know they have them. So like, why would you not actually use it?
I think in one of the Division Origins movie, didn't someone get whacked with an axe?
Yeah,
the
you
fireman,
hit him right in the face with it. So
yeah.
I don't understand, like, why would you not put that in the game in some?
Yeah.
I just want my own axe to fight back against the axe wielding cleaners.
Yeah,
because those guys make me mad.
Right.
I'm going to talk a little bit about that when we get to the undergun stuff, but
yeah. And I mean, I know people would be like, "Oh, we don't want this to be a melee game where you run in there with swords and shields or whatever." But you know, like, I think if you run out of ammo with your guns, and you don't necessarily have that powerful of a sidearm, maybe you could technically equip this thing, and instead of, like, the only way you could throw it is if you hold down to aim, and if you just equip it, then you can go around and hit people with it, you know. And it does a little bit more damage than your pistol, but then again, you're getting right up on somebody's face. Or you could equip your riot shield, and then you're exactly like those other guys. So
yeah. I mean, the enemies close the distance with you pretty quick, so they're right up on you, and there's not much you can do because your butt stroke doesn't do. Wait, a pause for the laugh. But your butt stroke doesn't do a lot of damage when those guys rush you.
Yeah,
like you don't hurt them that much.
They have to basically have no health left in order for you to kill them.
Yeah.
But yeah, Leading us into the second part of special weapons, we have an email from Recondo79, Recondo_79. Can I get that right? It says, "Hey gents, love the podcast. You fuel my Division cravings between betas and until the launch. Quick question: will there be weapon attachments such as the M203 grenade launchers or shotguns for the assault rifles? I noticed that the cleaners have flamethrowers attached to their AKs, so wouldn't that make sense for agents to have that option as well? I also thought door breaches would have been awesome too. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Keep up the good work."
First of all, I want to say I love this guy's screen name. I really like Recondo. Recondo is an actual military term. It means reconnaissance commando. Nice. And so I really like his name.
Oh, that's cool. That is pretty cool.
Yeah. So I'm in favor of this. I don't know how it would work in the game, but I really want undergun weapons and undergun type of attachments like that. Mm-hmm. I would like the 203 to maybe, if you attach one, maybe it replaces your grenades, and that way you have a much longer range with your grenades, and you still have all the different options with them, the different types. Shotguns would be cool too. I don't know how that would work exactly. I don't know if that just replaces your second primary. I don't know. It would get weird with the actual using of them, but I'm in favor of this.
Right. I could see the grenade launcher definitely having a place because, like you said, it would just replace all of your grenades and function the exact same way. In order to balance it, it could be a smaller blast radius than it would be with the other grenades.
Yeah.
And
because 40 millimeter grenades don't have a gigantic blast radius,
right?
So yeah, but you can shoot them farther. I like that idea. This is going to go into my ideas for some different types of special weapons here in a second. But
so what about the flamethrower? How would you make that work? Because then again, you'd have to have an ammo source, so it would have to replace something somewhere. That's the thing, like some of these things could simply be replaced in your consumables or inventory or stuff like that. Some of them would have to replace like a primary weapon source. So that's when things get kind of wonky.
I think in games a couple of games, and I can't think of to off the top of my head, but games where I have seen this, it does replace. And I think this is for mechanical purposes, that it will replace your secondary. And I think the reason for that is that that's how you switch between it still. Right. So yes, I mean, realistically, you could probably still carry, an M203 under your assault rifle and still have a secondary on your back. Right. But, mechanically, if you have an assault rifle you love and you just want to switch to the launcher, then you would just, whatever, click on whatever it is, triangle or whatever, to switch to it and then fire.
Yeah.
I think that's probably how you could do it in game. But for this in the same way, but is that 100% true? I don't know, but that's how you could do the flamethrower, I guess.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, that would make a lot more sense for the flamethrower than it would for the grenade launcher, because like Doom is saying, you could just simply replace the grenades for what the grenade launcher is, but the flamethrower, there's nothing in the grenades bar or the consumables that could function as like an ammo source. It would have to be like a whole secondary.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I love the shotgun idea, and here's why. Which I thought I would see something, but I haven't yet. I haven't seen any perks or anything on a weapon, and maybe this is because it's not realistic, to allow me to swap between my primary and secondary faster. Because I always pick that perk or whatever in a game because I like being able to change up close. Or when ammo's out, like in a dark zone, don't reload. Switch to your backup if you have a decent backup. Switch to your secondary. And I haven't seen anything that does like a quick swap.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it would be, for me, I would love to see the shotgun underneath that, because that would be, if I could just tap it and just activated it. Now I have my secondary, my shotgun ready.
Right.
That would be really cool for me, and I would take that in place of, even if it was 1 or 2 rounds, I would probably take that in place of a full secondary shotgun, because that's what's going to keep me alive a little in those close quarter situations.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that would definitely solve the problem. You just replace that with the whole secondary, and to balance it, you wouldn't be able to put any mods on it. You wouldn't be able to do anything. It would just be your basic raw functioning shotgun with a couple rounds.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds good. So
dude's like, okay, yeah, that passes.
No, that's cool. I hadn't thought about it that way. I do like that. That's cool. I'm working it out in my brain right now.
Yeah.
I do like that. So some of the other stuff that we kind of talked about a little bit, keeping going with the undergun stuff is bayonets.
I like
to
them.
Boost melee damage.
Yep.
Like we had just talked about your butt stroke.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna laugh.
Doesn't do a lot, but if maybe if you attached a bayonet, it boosts your melee damage.
Yeah.
But you lose stability.
Right.
It either lowers your stability or lowers your accuracy.
Right. Well, you would just lose whatever else would go under your barrel. That would replace it. It's like, okay, do I want to do more melee damage when I'm up close, or do I want to be more accurate from a distance?
Right. So a couple of the other ideas that I had, just real quick, was also in that the same idea of bayonets, possibly tack lights, where whenever you're close up and you activate it, it actually blinds your enemies.
Yeah.
It just cool. Say you have a dude running at you with an axe and you hit him with like a surefire tack light, and it just blinds him and it stops him.
Yeah.
I mean, I've used these in real life. I mean, we all had these attached to our guns in Iraq, and you enter a room, you flash the room, and it's so bright that it blinds everybody in there.
Right.
Not 100% of the time, but they're really bright. So,
I mean, they were in Battlefield 4, and they were sort of effective up close. Other than that, like they would activate when you would aim down your sight.
Yeah, and the enemy snipers in the dark zone already have these. When they're aiming at you, they have these bright ass lights.
Yeah,
they kind of keep you from seeing them, which is just weird to me.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. I have a spotlight attached to my scope, so you guys can't see me.
Just weird.
Is it supposed to be reflection? Because that's a lot of reflection.
Yeah. No, it's So a couple of the other ideas that I had for special weapons would, keeping with the grenade launcher thing, is possibly just a straight up M79 grenade launcher.
Yeah.
That could just be a regular weapon too. That could just be, equipable. The other thing that I thought would be cool that I've talked about before is a handheld 60 millimeter mortar system that you pull out. You get fixed in place and you can launch mortars. But it's you have an extremely limited use because you can only carry so many of those rounds.
Right.
And what was the other thing? Oh, like a one-shot rocket launcher, an AT-4, which is only a single-shot weapon. As soon as you fire it, that tube is useless.
Yeah.
So
we're getting more into this is more of like what I expect to see either in expansion passes or in the next game. I want there to be more. We've seen the drone, which was in the companion app. I want that stuff. I want that back in this game. It's slightly in the future. That stuff is real nowadays, and you don't want to get too crazy with it. You don't want to have giant mechs walking around, and you don't want to get too Call of Duty with you got boost packs and all these things. But throw in some of that little bit, futuristic technology, mix things up a little bit. You have the Seeker Mine, you have the drone. Those are autonomous machines that are in this world. Throw in the drones that you can. It doesn't necessarily have to be controlled by a tablet. It could just be a skill or a signature skill or something like that, or something new entirely. They could just have a companion system. You could have all right, if you're in a squad, then one person can have a companion. Because I think if 4 people had a companion, that would be a little bit OP. And then that would make sense for a grenade launcher. That would make sense for a rocket launcher. That would make sense for all of these other types of things that could be, make sense for explosive rounds, explosive arrows, different things like that. And I don't know. I like having those, slightly futuristic, not so much that it's okay, this is weird, but it's more oh, this is pretty cool. This is kind of stuff is real. I don't know how far into the future they need to go. Having drones or whatever that you could drive little mini tanks. They have those. Those things are real. They're on tracks and they can drive around and stuff. That could function as a companion. which actually it just makes me think of like we could do a whole nother episode on that, like what kind of robotic things like that we could have. I don't know. Like there's things that you could do, and we're kind of getting into crazy speculation about stuff we want in the game, but I think it's okay. I think it's okay to talk about, hey, this would be cool. I think this fits in this world or whatever. I don't know. Like I just thought this would be fun to talk about instead of, well, what do we think the story is going to be like? We have 9 days, so let's just try to figure out what the story is in these next 9 days or whatever. I just want it to be something a little bit different. But what do you think, Dave? What do you think about bayonets?
I like the idea of bayonets. Again, there's like a whole balance issue, but I think they have a place in the game, I guess. I mean, is that something that they do in like modern military? They still have bayonets on things? I don't know.
Oh yeah,
we had bayonets.
Yeah. We had bayonets in Iraq. We still carry
them. I guess I've seen the Rambo, the combat knife strapped to it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I know we had like throwing ideas. We are literally throwing ideas, throwing knives. That I think that would be a little bit more of a stretch in this situation than like a tactical tomahawk would be, because we've seen tactical tomahawks like on backpacks. We've seen it used in one of the missions. Throwing knives, I don't think would be that effective, because they're really small. That's more like a ninja, weapon that you would. All right, this guy's got ninja. This guy's got on body armor. I better throw 50 throwing knives at this guy to take his armor down. That to me is a stretch,
Man, haven't you seen the Expendables? Jason Statham throws those freaking knives.
Yeah, we just need the Jason Statham pack,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we know this is. We want to be realistic. We don't want it to break the game, obviously. But I think it would be cool to have some different things in there to mix stuff up, and the whole like drone companion things would be pretty cool too, because I already love having the turret, and I know I'm going to love having the seeker mine. So having something that could fly around with me the entire time and kind of keep an eye out would be awesome. Eventually, I mean, I'll have to play the game, obviously. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about guns that are actually in the game with the gun review. So what are we going to talk about this week, Doom?
Well, today we're going to talk about the MP7. I did an all SMG poll this week, and this one edged out the MP5 a little bit. So the MP7 is a German personal defense weapon, or PDW, manufactured by Heckler & Koch, and is chambered for the H&K 4.6 by 30 millimeter cartridge, which is a unique cartridge I'll talk about in a second.
That's really weird.
It was designed with a new cartridge to meet NATO requirements published in 1989, as these requirements called for a personal defense weapon class firearm with a greater ability to defeat body armor than current weapons limited to conventional pistol cartridges. The MP7 went into production in 2001 and is a direct rival to the FNP90, which is a weapon that we have not seen in the game and apparently isn't in there based on that data mine weapon list. So
that's really, I would expect the P90 to be in there. That's weird.
Yeah, me too. I kind of expected it to be there too, but it might be eventually. So
yeah,
the FMP90 also developed in response to NATO's requirements. The weapon has been revised since its introduction and is the current production versions are the MP7A1 and the newest MP7A2. The proliferation of high-quality body armor has begun to make the guns that fire pistol ammunition, such as the earlier MP5 or the USP pistol, ineffective. In response to this trend, Heckler & Koch designed the MP7 along with the now-canceled UCP pistol, which used the same ammunition to penetrate body armor, but small enough to be used in place of either a pistol or a submachine gun. So the MP7 is small.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small, super lightweight submachine gun. I mean, you can wear it in a holster on your hip. If you go and search for it, they have these holsters. You just wear it on your hip like it's an old school, wheel gun. So the MP7 uses a short stroke gas piston system as used on the G36 and the H&K 416 assault rifles, in place of a blowback system traditionally seen on submachine guns, including those by H&K. the 4.6 by 30 millimeter ammunition is virtually exclusive to the gun, except for the now canceled H&K UCP and a planned variant of the Brugger and Thormet MP9. And also, it offers low recoil. The ammunition is unique among submachine guns in that the bullet is made almost entirely of a hardened steel penetrator instead of a soft copper or lead. So
interesting.
Yeah, the weapon allows a 20, 30, or 40 round box magazine to be fitted within the pistol grip. So because it's a smaller round, they fit more than a 9mm round. You know,
right.
than a typical 9mm like the MP5. You know, you have less rounds. So the weapon features ambidextrous fire selector, bolt catch lever, and magazine release. It has an extendable stock and a folding front grip on the MP7A1, and can be fired either one-handed or two-handed. It is compact and light due to the use of polymers and its construction. So the difference between as far as I know I'm probably going to get emails and tweets and whatever about this because I probably messed up something, and I apologize. But as far as I understand, the MP7A1 has the folding front grip, and the MP7A2, instead of having the folding front grip, has a fourth rail, because it has the rail on the top, a rail on each side, and then a rail on the bottom. So you can affix, undergun stuff, a vertical gangster grip, or lights or lasers or whatever.
Right. Cool.
So I put in a couple of pictures, and I like the gun. You put some stuff on it to increase the stability. It hits pretty decently hard, and it fires fast, and it's fairly stable.
Yeah.
As far as submachine guns go.
I like putting a big mag on it.
Yep.
Throws out a lot of bullets.
So that's the MP7.
I wonder if there's going to be a named weapon of this. What do you think?
I hope so. I hope there's a named version of everything.
Of everything? Yeah, that would be pretty sweet.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I used the MP7. I don't even think I had an MP7 in the game. Did you guys have one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. You see a picture of mine that I have on here.
Oh, that's yours? Okay, I didn't know if you grabbed it from there or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's
I recognized it by the weapon camo, the stealth gray.
You son of a gun.
Lucky son of a...
I'll put
I
that
made it
in
look
the
almost
weapon pool notes.
Yeah, I made it look almost identical to the actual real life picture above it. It's it's pretty good. I like it. Yeah, and I think on there I have the heavy magazine spring on it, so it hit a little bit harder, I think. But it was fun. The magazine, I think it really does need an extended mag on it though, because I ran out of rounds pretty fast.
Yeah,
because on there I only have a 20 round mag, and it goes through that pretty quick.
Right. Anyways, for the final segment of Rogue Agent Radio, like we mentioned last week, we are going to have the Manhunt of the Week. This is where you send us your gamer tag and story of why you should be featured on Manhunt of the Week, so you can have people to play with if you don't have any people to play with. And this week, we chose Nightmare, who plays on Xbox. He says, I have got the coughs today. He says, I'm Adam, a 30-year-old father of 2 and husband. It's hard to maintain time for gaming. Like I did back before I had kids, but I manage. Most nights, once the kids are asleep, it's game on. I've been an avid gamer since the Sega Genesis and haven't looked back. I enjoy all types of games, from shooters to RPGs to real-time strategy. That's why The Division is perfect for me. I believe I should be featured because the only thing harder than finding time to play is finding the right people to play with. The Division has already established itself as my go-to franchise and a game I will be playing for a long time. The purchase of the Season Pass only cemented that for me, and would love to fall back on a great community of like-minded individuals. As far as my playstyle, I'm a firm believer in playing the objective and good communication. While I've gone into the Dark Zone solo and have lived to tell the tale, I'd much rather do it with a team I could rely on. I'm comfortable doing anything from taking point to sitting back and supporting my team. Whether you need front lines or a medic, I'm here to help. My go-to platform for now will be the Xbox One, with a Steam copy of the game somewhere in the future. Thanks for the consideration, fellas. Well, Nightmare on Xbox One, Adam, you are the Manhunt of the Week. So everyone, go send this guy a friend request. His gamer tag on Xbox One is Nightmare. That is KN1GHTMARE. So go send him a friend request. Tell him you heard about the Manhunt of the Week on Rogue Agent Radio, and go play with him. Anyways.
Yeah, great first Manhunt. I was in the same boat, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, these are the exact kind of people that we want to feature on the show. People who don't have time to play and need people to come find them and stuff. So,
and don't forget, you can we have a sticky thread on the divisionforums.com where our forums are hosted, so you can go post your Manhunt submissions there.
Yeah, post them there and send us emails at rogueagentradio@gmail.com, and then we will consider you for the next Manhunt. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for episode 20 of Rogue Agent Radio. We want to remind you to check out rogueagentradio.com, where you can find all of our links, whether it's YouTube, iTunes, Podbean, or Twitter. You can be sure to find it all there. If you want to keep up with all the hosts between episodes, you can follow us on Twitter. Dave is at DeepFriedDave. Doom is at BlessedDoom with an underscore. And yours truly is at Boomslangg with 2 G's and an underscore. Thanks for listening, everyone, and until next time, maintain radio silence and watch your corners, agents.
Rogue protocol initiated.